The stars looked peaceful, silent, cold, empty. But Commander Threxel knew the truth. Nothing was ever truly silent in space. He stood inside the command dome of his flagship, Varnak Tel, watching the blue and green planet below, Earth. His 6 black eyes stared at it without blinking. His silver skin glowed under the ship's control lights, and his long, thin arms were folded behind his back. His species, the Zarkali, did not fear much. But they always watched first. Always. Threxel had been watching Earth for 2 years, listening, studying, judging. And he had made a decision. This world is weak, he said, his voice deep and calm. No space fleets, no orbital cannons. Number. Shields, no warp tech, primitive. His second officer, Lorik, bowed his head. Their technology is low level. Most of their signals are from simple satellites. No interstellar communication. No warp drives. They are not ready for contact. Threxel nodded slowly. Good, he said. Then we strike in 3 days. There was no emotion in his voice. Just cold purpose. The Zarkali Empire had grown by conquering unprotected planets. Earth would be just another jewel in their crown. Another source of water, minerals, food, and slaves. The humans would serve. They always served, but deep inside Threxel's mind, something did not sit right. He had destroyed 37 worlds, fought many wars, but Earth was strange. Too quiet. Too open. Too watched. He shook the thought away. Begin final scans. I want full orbital maps, ground troop targets, and disable their satellites. We strike when the moon is full. Lorik nodded. Yes, Commander. As the crew began working, Threxel turned once more to the wide viewing window. Earth hung there, glowing like a soft lamp in the dark. It looked peaceful, but peace could be a lie. Far below, on Earth, night had fallen over the Pacific Ocean. The stars shined bright over a small island. And on that island, something ancient waited. It had been buried for centuries. Maybe more. Waves crashed against the rocks. Wind howled through the trees, and the sky sparkled above. But under the surface, deep beneath the island's roots, a small dome of metal began to hum, then glow. Then speak. Unknown threat detected. Proximity. Orbital. Signal. Zarkali pattern Beta 7. Time to impact. 72 hours. Defense system. Standby. Number. One heard the voice. Not yet, but it had awakened. Back aboard the Varnak Tel, Threxel walked through the data halls alone. He passed walls of glowing symbols, spinning light orbs, and scanning towers. His mind was full. Something was wrong. But he couldn't say what. He entered the private strategy chamber and stared at the floating hologram of Earth. The map showed military bases, cities, oceans, mountain ranges. The humans were everywhere, but so disorganized. So slow. Then a flashing red light blinked on the screen. Incoming signal detected. Threxel froze. Source? He demanded. Earth, the computer replied. Encrypted. Non-human format. Signal stopped after 4.2 seconds. What did it say? We do not know. He stepped closer. Replay it. A burst of sound hit the room. High-pitched, metallic. Like a scream, but not from a living thing. Then silence. Threxel narrowed his eyes. This planet does not have that kind of tech. That sound was not human. Correct, the computer said. Unknown origin. Signal destroyed itself on contact. He stared at the dark globe below. What are you hiding? He whispered. In a military base in Colorado, Earth. A red light blinked on a control board that hadn't activated in 75 years. Captain Amira Holt stared at it, her coffee forgotten in her hand. The control room was old, dusty, and mostly abandoned. But that light, it wasn't supposed to exist. She leaned over and pressed a button. Base Command, this is Holt. I have an alert from System A113. Do we still use that? There was a pause. Then a voice replied, "Where did you say this signal came from?" A113. Silence. Then, secure the room. Lock the door. Do not leave. We're sending a team now. Holt blinked. Wait, what? What is a 113? But the radio was already dead above Earth. In deep orbit, the Varna Tel sent out 5 scout drones. They were small, fast, and nearly invisible. Each was designed to scan planets without being seen. The Zarkali had used them for years without failure. This time, something changed. One by one, the scouts disappeared. No signal. No trace. Not even wreckage. Just silence. Threxel slammed his fist into the control panel. What is happening on this planet? Lorik looked uneasy. Commander, perhaps we should delay. If they have some kind of hidden defense. They don't, Threxel snapped. They can't. Their entire species is still crawling in the dark. This is trickery. Noise. He turned back to the map. Launch a probe. I want direct visual. In Antarctica. Dr. Eva Reed stood at the edge of a hole in the ice. It was not natural. She had spent 10 years studying glaciers, ice layers, and tectonic shifts. This hole was not caused by nature. It was perfect, round, deep, and the ice around. It was melted in a smooth, circular shape, like something hot had punched through from below. Her assistant, Mark, called out. Hey, Dr. Reed, we sent the drone down. You're gonna want to see this. She climbed back into the tent and stared at the screen. Below the ice, deep under the glacier, was a massive black dome, metal, smooth, bigger than a football field. It was buried under 300 meters of ice. No one knew it was there. Not even satellite scans showed it. And now, it was glowing. Ava's hands shook. What is that? The drone camera zoomed closer. On the side of the dome, glowing symbols appeared. They were not human. In space. Zarkali probe began descending into Earth's atmosphere. Threxel watched carefully. This time no stealth, no tricks. He wanted raw data. The probe passed over the Pacific. Then suddenly flashed. The probe vanished. No explosion. No sound. Just dash gun. Threx took a step back. What kind of weapon can do that? He asked. Lorik whispered, "We should report to the High Command." Threxel didn't answer. His eyes were locked on Earth. For the first time, he felt something strange. Was it fear? No, but it was close. Eva and her team stood at the edge of the glacier hole. Without warning, the ground rumbled. Then a beam of light shot from the hole into the sky blue, bright and soundless. Everyone dropped to the ground. The light vanished. After 2 seconds, the snow was untouched, but Ava's radio crackled. A robotic voice spoke from her pocket. Defense system A113, online. She stared at the device. What is A113? She whispered. Mark answered without thinking. It's from the old Cold War files, top secret. Cancelled in 1982. Nobody ever found out what it really was. Ava looked back at the glowing dome below. She had a feeling she just found it. In deep space. Beyond the moon, other Zarkasi ships began arriving. The invasion fleet. 100 warships. Massive, armored, powerful, but none of them knew what had just awakened on Earth. They thought this would be easy. They were wrong. Threxel sat in the dark, watching the signal logs. The same sound from before repeated again. The scream, the metal scream, but this time it was clearer. He listened to it carefully, then slowed it down. Inside the sound, he heard a pattern. It was not just noise. It was words. Translated, it said, "Earth is not defenseless. Proceed at your own risk." Threxel stood up straight, his heart pounded. Earth had sent a warning, and now it was listening. The cold wind howled across the ice fields of Antarctica. Snow whipped in sharp waves across the empty white land. But under the ground, deep below the surface, something ancient had begun to wake up. Dr. Eva Reed stood at the edge of the deep. hole her team had discovered. It stretched down like a smooth, perfect tunnel cut into the ice. The metal dome below still glowed with a strange blue light. She took a deep breath and looked at her assistant. "Mark, this is not human tech," she said. Mark nodded. "It's not even close. I scanned the material. It's not on the periodic table." They stood in silence, staring into the darkness below. Eva had studied Earth's geology for most of her life. She believed in facts, data, and evidence. But nothing about this made sense. Then the voice came again. "Defense System A-113, online." It echoed from the radio in her pocket. Mark stepped back. "Did you hear that?" "I did," Eva said, trying to keep her voice calm. "It came from the dome." Mark's eyes widened. "It's talking to us." Eva pulled out the small field radio. It was off. Batteries removed, yet the voice had spoken through it. Then, just as suddenly, the voice stopped, half a world away. Deep under the Pentagon, 4 men stood in a dark command room. General Mercer, head of Global Defense Protocol, stared at an old screen with blinking red letters. A-113, status active. "This can't be right," Mercer said. "We shut down A-113 in 1982. It was never finished. Just theory and hardware." One of his analysts looked pale. "Sir, it's not just online. It's sending signals into orbit." Mercer's hands tightened into fists. "Get me every file. On A-113, wake the president, and send a special ops team to Antarctica." Eva and Mark had climbed into the tunnel. They were 30 meters down, the air getting colder and thicker when they reached the dome's surface. It was smooth, flawless. Black metal. No scratches, no rust, no seams. Just one thing, a small triangle, glowing faintly. Eva touched it. The ground rumbled. The triangle split open like a puzzle piece, and a door began to form. The metal shifted, melted, and shaped itself into an opening. Mark stepped back, shaking. This isn't a door. It's growing." Eva took a deep breath. "It's letting us in." Without another word, she stepped through. Inside. The dome was massive, like a football stadium, but underground. Blue lights flickered along the walls. Strange symbols floated in the air like holograms. And in the center, a giant glass cylinder pulsed with white light. Eva turned slowly, eyes wide. "This isn't from Earth," Mark whispered. "It's not from now either. Look at that writing. It's pre-human." Suddenly, a soft tone echoed through the room. A glowing sphere floated down from the ceiling and stopped in front of Eva. Then it spoke. "Dr. Eva Reed, authorized. Welcome to Planetary Defense Vault A-113. Status, emergency mode." Eva froze. Mark stared. "It knows your name." Eva took a slow step forward. "What is this place?" The sphere replied, "This is a defense hub. Built for Earth. Activated by planetary threat level. Omega. Alien invasion detected. Time to impact, 68 hours. On the Varnock Tel, Commander." Threxel sat alone in the strategy room. He stared at the scans of Earth. Still no trace of weapons in space. Still no military movement. But something kept bothering him. "Computer," he said, "run another deep scan on Earth's poles." Thermal imaging, energy signatures. The scan began. Lines flickered. Numbers danced. Then something flashed. Alert. Anomalous energy signature detected. Location: Continent 7, Southern Ice Sheet. Threxel leaned forward. The screen zoomed in. Beneath the ice, a glowing structure. Unknown material. Hidden power sources. Emitting low-frequency pulses into orbit. The commander's eyes narrowed. That was not there yesterday. Back inside the dome, Eva stood at the glass cylinder. It rose. Nearly 20 feet tall, filled with white mist and blinking lights. Strange metal arms floated inside, turning slowly. The sphere spoke again. "Would you like to activate Earth's defense systems?" Ava swallowed. I thought I just did. You have only activated the vault. The weapons are offline. Authorization required. Command code or identity key. Ava blinked. I don't have a code. What is an identity key? The sphere paused. Then it floated closer and scanned her face. Match 42%. Partial DNA match found. Ancestor class. Design engineer. Prototype age. 10,000 years. A vase. Heart nearly stopped. What? Mark whispered. Did it say 10,000 years? The sphere spoke again. You are a descendant of the Vault Builders. Partial access granted. Do you wish to activate weapon systems? Ava didn't know what to say. She felt like she was standing in a dream, or a memory from someone else's life. But then she remembered the voice, alien invasion. 68 hours, she nodded. Yes, activate them. Deep below, gears turned. Lights flashed. Metal groaned as if waking from a long sleep. Massive engines hidden in Earth's crust began to warm up. Systems that hadn't moved in thousands of years flickered to life. And in orbit, somewhere near the moon, Zarkali scout ships picked up a sudden pulse of energy. The pulse came from Earth. Not just a signal this time. Wave. Invisible. But powerful. One ship's systems shorted out. Another spun wildly out of control. Threxel stood in shock as the data came in. Something on Earth is pushing back. Lorik said, "Shall I call for reinforcements?" Threxel did not answer. He was watching a video from the last probe, slowed. Down and enhanced. It showed a bright flash just before the probe disappeared. A beam of energy, shaped like a spear, coming from Antarctica. Back at the dome, the sphere gave anew instructions. Weapons online, 5 platforms active. 17 systems offline, power at 43%. Mark looked around. Weapons, what kind? The floor lit up, revealing maps of Earth and small glowing orbs in key locations, deep oceans, deserts, under. Cities, platforms include orbital lasers, gravity mines, kinetic shields, disruption satellites, atmospheric strikers. Mark was stunned. These aren't weapons, these are gods. Ava turned to him. This isn't new tech. This is old, and someone buried it, Mark whispered, or left it here. For us, the Zarkali fleet adjusted formation. Threxel gave new orders. We will not wait. Begin the first wave. 10 warships detached from the main fleet and began descending slowly into Earth's upper orbit. They would target the major cities, strike fast, test resistance, but as they entered the thermosphere, something strange happened. The sky turned red. Then, one by one, their systems shut down, engines died. Weapons locked. Lights dimmed. Then something even stranger. A human voice came through their comms. You are entering protected territory. Turn back, or be destroyed. The voice was cold, calm, male. Threxel stood up. That voice is not human. Lorik said, then who is it? Inside the Antarctic vault, the sphere showed a final message on the glass wall. A face appeared. Not human. But close. Dark skin, silver eyes, and strange markings along the forehead. The being spoke in English. If you have awakened this place, the enemy has come again. We were the first humans. We left you this world, and this warning. Defend Earth, or they will take it forever. Ava's legs nearly gave out. Mark grabbed her arm. We're not the first? He asked. Ava's voice shook. No, we're just the last. Above Earth, the stars were quiet. The blackness of space stretched far in every direction, but it was not empty. The Zarkali fleet floated like metal giants, waiting for orders. On the bridge of the Varnak Tel, Commander Threxel stood still. Had seen many planets fall, but something about Earth felt different. Unnatural. Wrong. He watched the screen in front of him. 10 scout ships had been sent into low orbit to test Earth's defenses. And now, one by one, their signals were vanishing. No. Alarms. No messages. Just silence. Report, Threxel growled. Lorik tapped on a glowing console. His voice shook slightly. Scout 1, signal lost. Scout 2, last known position destroyed. Scout 3, no response. 4 through 10, same pattern. Threxel's black eyes narrowed. Where are the wrecks? Nowhere, Lorik said. There's no debris. No heat, no explosion traces. They just disappeared. Threxel slammed a clawed fist on the control rail. Ships don't vanish, he said. Find the answers, now. In Earth's lower orbit, a strange object hovered among the stars. It was small, no bigger than a car, and shaped like a jagged triangle. It did not reflect radar. It did not show on scanners. And it did not belong to any nation on Earth. It was old. Very old. And very awake. As the 10th Zarkali scout approached, the triangle pulsed once with blue light. The scout ship's engines stopped. Its lights blinked. Once. Then flashed. The ship was gone. No sound. No trace. Only a small echo of data, which bounced back to the Zarkali fleet. Deep in the Antarctic vault, Dr. Eva Reed stared at a floating hologram. It showed Earth, surrounded by thin glowing lines. Defense satellites, the sphere explained. Built long ago. Powered by core energy. And self-repairing systems, cloaked from modern sensors. Mark stepped closer. How many of these things are up there? 17 are online, the sphere said. 12 are active. Eva turned. What are they doing? Scanning, blocking, and eliminating hostiles. Mark's jaw dropped. Wait, eliminating? That's what's destroying the alien scouts. Correct. Eva rubbed her forehead. This system, it's not just for warning. It's designed to fight. And win, the sphere added. In a dark bunker in Nevada, Captain Amira Holt watched live satellite feeds of space. One screen showed stars. Then a flash. One of the alien scouts vanished from orbit. Another one down, she said. Her commander nodded. Whatever this old system is, it's doing better than anything we've built. Amira tapped the feed. But there's a problem. What? No. Wreckage, nothing falling from orbit. These alien ships aren't getting shot down. She zoomed in on a strange triangle floating in space. They're being erased. Commander Threxel paced the deck of the Varnak Tel. His mind was racing. This planet is hiding something, he said. Some kind of ancient defense grid. But it doesn't match their tech level. Lorik nodded. Perhaps they didn't build it? Threxel paused. What do you mean? Lorik spoke carefully. There are legends. Rumors of seeded worlds. Planets protected by older races. Sleeping systems left behind. Threxel turned sharply. You believe Earth is one of those? I believe, Lorik said, that we may have woken something we don't understand. Back on Earth, in the Antarctic vault, the holograms changed again. A new map appeared. Orbit Guard. Alpha is moving. Eva stepped forward. What's Orbit Guard? Alpha? Primary defense drone, the sphere answered. Built to intercept and destroy ships larger than 1 kilometer. Armed with kinetic spears and timefold disruptors. Mark stared. You're telling me Earth has killer satellites that launch time weapons? The sphere said nothing. Then Eva asked, why was this hidden? The sphere replied, because humanity was not ready. You are still not ready. But war has come in space. The Zarkali destroyer-class ship Moltar slowly moved into orbit. It was massive, 3 kilometers long, shaped like a blade. Its weapons could level cities from space. Inside, the crew laughed. They believed Earth had no defense. But then a soft ping echoed in the control room. Unidentified object approaching. A Zarkali officer said that the screen showed something small, a triangle, glowing blue heading directly toward them. They prepared to fire. Too late. The triangle moved faster than light. In 1 second. It pierced the ship's hull. In the next. The entire destroyer folded inward like paper, then vanished. Aboard the Varnectel, alarm screamed. Moltar is gone. Lorik shouted. Threxel's 6 eyes widened. Destroyed? No explosion, no signal, just vanished. Another officer screamed, Commander, something is targeting us. On screen, dozens of small shapes lit up triangles, moving through. Orbit like sharks. Threxel's voice dropped to a whisper. They're not ships, they're hunters. He turned sharply. Pull the fleet back. Get us into high orbit, now. Back in the vault, Eva and Mark watched Earth's defense system do its work. What are those triangle drones? Mark asked. They are called Skyminders, the sphere said. Each one is powered by a fragment of the planet's core energy. They are not machines, they are living code. Eva's eyebrows rose. Living code? They learn. They adapt. And they protect. Only the builders could stop them. Mark looked at Eva. Guess we're not in control of this. Eva didn't answer. She had a feeling they weren't in control of anything anymore. On the moon, deep under the surface, a new light flickered. It came from an old chamber buried for thousands of years. A single pod opened. Inside, a man slept. His body was human, but his blood was not. His name was Cain, and he was waking up. His eyes opened. He sat up slowly, then stood, breathing in the cold, dry air. Then he whispered, They're here. The moon was quiet. No wind, no life, just dust and silence. But deep under the surface, in a forgotten chamber buried beneath layers of rock, a pod hissed open. Inside was a man. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and pale. His body looked human, but his blood was not. It moved differently inside him, thicker, stronger. His eyes opened, glowing faintly blue in the dark. He sat up. No memories came to him, no name, no history. Only one word echoed in his mind. Cain. On Earth, alarms rang across hidden defense sites. In Colorado, Captain Amira Holt stared at the alert on her screen. Subject 7. Status active. Location, Lunar Vault. Her commander stepped beside her. That can't be right. Subject 7 was lost. System error? Amira shook her head. No, sir. He's alive. And moving. Cain stood in the cold lunar cave. Old machines powered up around him. Lights flickered. Dust rose from the floor. He walked forward slowly, bare feet touching ancient metal tiles. His muscles moved easily, like they had always known what to do. The walls around him were covered in glowing symbols, none of them human. But Cain understood them. He didn't know how. He just did. Warning, a robotic voice said. Zarkali invasion detected. Earth defenses, 34% activated. Cain's face was calm. He placed his hand on the glowing control pillar in the center of the room. Defense Node 7 online, the voice said. Command access granted. Welcome back, Cain. Eva. Reed sat inside the Antarctic vault, staring at the sphere. More satellites had gone active. More triangle drone Skyminders were hunting in space. Mark pointed to a new symbol on the map. What's that one? It wasn't there before. The sphere answered. Lunar Vault 7 has awakened. Subject Cain is operational. Eva frowned. Who is Cain? He was the first defender, the builder's weapon. The last protector. Mark looked confused. That sounds like a myth. Eva didn't answer. Something deep inside her said it wasn't. She whispered, He's real. On the moon, Cain opened a silver locker and pulled out a dark combat suit. It sealed itself around his body, layer by layer. Flexible, strong, ancient. Inside the chest of the suit, a glowing crystal pulsed once. Power, 91%. Suit integrity, green. Neural link, stable. Cain turned toward a circular platform. He stepped onto it. Destination? The system asked. He answered simply, Earth. In space, the Zarkali fleet pulled into high orbit. Commander Threxel was angry, very angry. 10 ships lost. Dozens of scouts gone. No explanation. He stood before a glowing map of Earth. "This planet is cursed," he said. "It pretends to be weak, but it fights like a warrior." Lorik whispered, "Maybe we should not fight it." Threxel snapped, "Too late." Then another alert flashed. "Unknown object approaching from the moon. Speed, Mach 80. Threxel's head jerked around. "What now?" The screen zoomed in. A human-shaped figure flew through space, surrounded by blue energy. Kane. Kane hit Earth's atmosphere like a falling star. Blue fire trailed behind him as he dropped through clouds, through wind, through storm. He landed in a desert, an old military test site, long forgotten. The sand exploded outward. He rose from the crater, untouched. He looked up at the sky. Above him, the stars moved. He could sense the enemy watching. In Washington, D.C., General Mercer stared at the footage. A man had fallen from orbit and survived. No ship, no armor. Just him. "This isn't possible," Mercer whispered. "Who the hell is this?" Beside him, Amira Holt answered. "His name is Kane, and according to the files, he's older than the United States." Kane walked across the empty desert. He didn't breathe hard. He didn't tire. But his mind was full of fragments. Voices, flashes, fire, stars. He saw himself holding weapons no human had ever seen. He saw cities burning, not human cities. He saw creatures that did not belong to Earth. Then a voice spoke inside his head. "They're back." He stopped walking. "They," he said aloud, "are going to regret that." In Antarctica, Eva watched the vault screens shift. A new icon blinked. Kane. Connected. Then a voice came through the speakers. "This is Kane. I need access to global defense channels." Eva answered, unsure if he could hear her. "We don't even have full control of this system." Kane's voice was calm. "You don't need control. You need trust. Let me guide it." Eva hesitated, then nodded. The sphere pulsed. Kane given override access. High above in space, Threxel made his move. "Launch the first wave," he ordered. 5 troop carriers broke formation and began descending toward Earth. Their targets: New York, Beijing, Nairobi, Paris, and a power station in northern Russia. Each ship carried over 5,000 Zarkali warriors. The invasion had begun. Kane stood still. He raised his hand. Blue energy formed around his body. In his mind, he saw the carriers. He felt their movement. He connected with the Skymenders and gave them orders. In seconds, the sky above Earth lit up. 1 Skymender became 10. 10 became 50. They moved faster than missiles. One by one, the troop ships were hit mid-air. They did not explode. They were erased like chalk wiped from a board. In the Varneptel, Threxel watched in horror. "All 5 ships, gone," an officer shouted. No resistance. No weapons fired. They were just deleted. Threxel's body tensed. "This is no longer an invasion," he said. "It's a trap." On Earth, Kane reached the edge of an abandoned Earth defense base. The gates opened without a word. Lights turned on. Systems restarted. The base had been waiting for him. In the main room, a giant screen blinked to life. Defender command online. Kane stared into the glowing map of Earth and space. He didn't smile. He just spoke. "Let them come. I'll be waiting." The world thought it was safe. For years, the skies had been calm. The stars just distant lights. But now, the skies were changing. Above Earth, alien ships filled the darkness. The Zarkali fleet circled the planet like vultures, waiting to strike. Again, people across the globe looked up in fear. No news. No warnings. Just silence. But that silence was about to end. In a hidden military bunker deep in the Swiss Alps. A red alarm flashed. A voice came through the walls. Calm, robotic, code red, defend. The soldiers inside the bunker froze. Some didn't even know what the code meant. Then giant doors began to open. Lights came on. Huge machines powered up. Old machines, forgotten weapons, from a time before anyone alive could remember. In the desert of Nevada, sand exploded as a buried structure rose from underground. Steel towers unfolded. Rocket tubes rotated. In the middle, a screen lit up with 3 simple words: Defense Protocol engaged. Across the oceans, strange machines rose from the water, long silver arms extended. Circular platforms floated to the surface, hidden beneath the waves for centuries. They now moved like they had never stopped. Seabirds scattered as the ocean itself came alive. At a mountain base in Chile, 4 technicians watched their equipment go online. Did you do that? One of them asked. No, the chief replied. It did it by itself. The wall opened. Behind it stood a walking tank 10 feet tall, plated in black armor, marked with an unknown symbol glowing blue. AI Unit 4 to 9 online, it said. Awaiting enemy contact. The technicians backed away slowly. Back in the Antarctic vault, Eva, Reed, and Mark watched as the map of Earth filled with light. Dots blinked across every continent, each one a new activation. Are all of these Earth's defenses? Mark asked. The sphere answered. Yes, old systems, buried, hidden, meant to sleep forever. Eva stepped forward. Who built them? The first ones, the ones who lived here long before your time. They knew the Zarkali would return one day. Mark stared in shock. So this isn't a war. It's a rematch. In orbit, aboard the Zarkali flagship Varnektel, Commander Threxel watched the chaos unfold. He saw lights turning on all across the planet, new energy fields, unmapped weapons, hidden bases. And still no central military, no generals, no warnings. Earth is waking up, Lorik said. No, Threxel replied. It's remembering. On the other side of the world, in northern Russia, an ancient vault opened inside a mountain. Inside, a dark figure stepped out of a pod. Not Kane, someone else. Another defender, a woman. Her name was written on the wall. LYR6. She opened her eyes, then walked forward. Enemy detected, she said. Planet requires response. She opened a steel case. Inside was a weapon not made by human hands. It floated into the air and wrapped around her arm. Lyra looked to the sky. Time to fight. Kane stood inside Earth Defense Base 12 in Arizona. Screens around him blinked with live data. Sky positions, fleet movements, weapons status. He saw Lyra's activation on the map. So, he whispered, I'm not the only one. Then he tapped the main console. Skyminder network, expand range. Track all incoming Zarkali units. Global defense systems, grant full control to defenders. The system responded instantly. Confirmed. Authorization, Kane. Override complete. In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, a massive underwater platform rose from the sea. At first, it looked like an island. Then it stood up. A walking giant. 100 meters tall, eyes glowing white. It had no face. Just one name burned into its chest. A113. Panic spread through the Zarkali fleet. Ships pulled back. Officers shouted. Weapons charged, but nothing worked. Every time a carrier dropped, it vanished. Every time a scout moved forward, it never returned. It was not a battle anymore. It was a warning. On the ground in Paris, people stared at the sky. For the first time, they saw strange lights above the clouds, skyminders flying like birds. Suddenly, a blue barrier flickered across the sky like a net. Children pointed. Parents took out phones. Someone whispered, Is this us? Threxel couldn't believe what he was seeing. We came to conquer, he said. But Earth has been waiting. Lorik stepped forward. Commander, if this is a trap, we must leave. Threxel turned slowly. No, he said. We do not run. We find their core. We strike it. He pointed at Antarctica. There. That's where it began. Back in the vault, Ava's screen went dark. An alert flashed. Warning. Zarkali fleet moving toward Antarctic vault. Mark shouted. They found us. Ava stood frozen. They're coming for the control center. The sphere's voice turned serious. If the vault falls, global defense will go offline. You must protect this site. Ava swallowed hard. How? We're scientists. You won't be alone. Then the ceiling above them began to rumble. Metal panels opened. From the shadows. Figures stepped down. Humanoid. Tall. Armored. Glowing. Blue lines moved across their suits. One of them stepped forward and spoke. We are Vault Guard. Our job is to protect the builders. And the ones who came after. Eva whispered. Are you alive? The figure paused. We were. Once. Now we are what Earth made to stand when no one else could. In Arizona, Kane received the alert. Antarctica is under threat, he said. Without waiting, he activated his flight system. Wings of light formed around his back. He shot into the sky like a missile. Blue fire trailing behind him. In Russia, Lyra turned to the sky. A voice in her helmet said, Vault under siege. She smiled. Good, she said. I was getting bored. Above Earth, hundreds of Skymenders moved into position. Their lights changed from blue to red. The hunters were ready. The war had officially begun. The sky was no longer empty. Where there were once soft clouds and sunlight, now floated war. Above every continent, Earth's hidden defense systems moved into position. Blue lights danced through the clouds. Shapes shifted in orbit. Old weapons hummed with power they hadn't used in thousands of years. And in the darkness of space, the Zarkali came. Commander Threxel stood on the bridge of the Varnektel. Eyes locked on the screen. 10 new warships had arrived from the outer fleet. Long, sharp, and black as night. Each one carried weapons that could burn cities. Each one ready to strike. He pointed at Earth. Begin the assault, he said. This time we crush them. Far below, in the clouds over Africa, 5 Zarkali warships dropped through the atmosphere. Their engines roared, their weapons charged. They aimed for Johannesburg, a city full of life, completely unaware of the storm coming. But Earth was not. Unguarded, from behind the clouds, 5 Skymenders rose like ghosts. They didn't roar. They didn't flash. They simply appeared silent, sharp, and glowing blue. The first Skymender struck without warning. Thin blue beams shot from its center. The lead warship folded inward and vanished like it had never existed. In a military control room in Johannesburg, General Amina Kalu watched the sky. Her jaw dropped. 1 second. The alien ship was there. The next, it was gone. Her team stood frozen. Are we under attack? Someone asked. She shook her head slowly. No, she said. We're being defended. Back in space, Threxel slammed his fist into the command rail. 2 more ships gone, Lorik reported. Skymenders are guarding every major sky path. Threxel's face twisted. Then we strike where they are weakest. He turned to a new officer. Send the stormtroops. All of them. From the underbelly of the Zarkali fleet, black pods began falling toward Earth. Each one held 10 warriors. Tall, insect-like, clawed, armored in dark metal. Thousands of pods. Rain of death. They came down fast, lighting the skies with fire. In Antarctica, the vault trembled. The enemy was near. Eva looked at the map. They're landing outside the vault, hundreds of them. Mark backed away. We're not soldiers, Ava. What do we do? Before she could answer, the vault guard stepped forward. Stay behind us. They raised their arms. Weapons unfolded from their forearms like ancient steel blades made of light and sound. This place will not fall. Kane flew through the clouds like a comet, faster than sound. His sensors lit up. Over 50 Zarkali landing pods were headed for the Arctic. Circle. He changed course. Blue fire exploded behind him. The first pod was only seconds from touchdown when he struck. With one punch, Kane shattered the metal shell and crushed the creatures inside. He landed hard, then kept moving. 3 more pods dropped. He leapt into the air, his arm glowing. A pulse of energy spread in all directions, erasing everything within 30 meters. Elsewhere, in the Russian wilderness, Lyra faced a squad of Zarkali warriors. She stood alone. They charged. She didn't flinch. With a flick of her wrist, her gauntlet lit up and threw a wide energy blade across the snow. Every creature that touched it turned to ash. The skies above Earth had become a battlefield. In Asia, Skymenders intercepted enemy bombers. In the Pacific, ocean towers rose and fired sonic waves that ripped through Zarkali armor. In South America, hidden mountain cannons shot bolts of lightning into the sky. The world was awake, and it was angry. But the Zarkali didn't stop. More ships came. Warriors landed. They attacked vault sites. They hit civilian centers. They fought without fear, because they believed Earth was still weak underneath. In Paris, one warship broke through the defenses that had hovered over the Eiffel Tower, charging a plasma cannon. But before it could fire, a human stepped from a rooftop. Wearing no armor. No suit. Just simple clothes and glowing eyes. She lifted her hand. A sphere of white light appeared and fired upward. It cut the warship in two. Crowd below cheered. But the woman said nothing. She vanished into the smoke. Ava sat in the vault, staring at the live feed. "They're everywhere," she said. Mark whispered. "We're losing ground." The sphere replied, "No, the planet is still adapting. More defense units are coming online." Then a new screen appeared. "Human defender signal detected." Eva blinked. "Another Kane?" The sphere answered, "Not Kane, another generation. More are waking up." In Egypt, under the pyramids, an ancient chamber cracked open. A figure stepped out. Bronze skin, eyes like fire. Another defender. In Brazil, beneath a forgotten rainforest base, 2 siblings emerged from STASIS. Twins. Fast, smart, armed. Every region had its own, left behind long ago. For this day. Kane stood on a snowy ridge, staring at a fleet of Zarkali soldiers below. He tapped his cum. "Lyra, come in." Her voice answered through static. "Still alive, barely." Kane looked up as 3 new ships dropped from orbit. "Think it's time to gather the team?" Lyra laughed. "Now you're thinking like a leader." High above Earth, the Zarkali flagship trembled. Threxel had never lost a war. Not until now. He stared at the blue-green planet and said nothing. Then, finally he spoke. "Call the Reaper class." Lorik turned in shock. "You mean the exterminators?" Threxel nodded once. "They were built for this." Lorik hesitated. "But sir, if we use them, we destroy the planet." Threxel turned slowly. "I don't care anymore." The dark silence of space was broken by a distant roar. Far beyond Earth's orbit, the Varnak Tel trembled. Commander Threxel stood rigid. Behind him, the massive hangar doors slowly opened. Out of the shadows emerged the Reapers, colossal war machines, towering over the largest Zarkali ships. Black as void, covered in spikes and glowing red eyes, they were the galaxy's deadliest weapons, designed for one purpose: extermination. On Earth, Eva Reed's hands trembled as she watched the warning flash on the vault's main screen. Reaper class deployment detected. ETA 90 minutes. Mark looked pale. "How do we stop that?" The sphere replied calmly. "We don't stop it. We survive it. Earth's defense protocol Alpha is preparing." Ava swallowed hard. Prepare how? What do we have? Weapons, survivors, and hope. Kane flew over the scorched deserts of Australia. Below him, the land was cracked and broken. Zarkali warriors marched forward, crushing all resistance. His cum crackled. Lyra, report. 2 more pods wiped out in Antarctica. Ava's team. Holding Vault strong, but we need help. Kane clenched his fists. Help is coming. He turned his body toward the dark horizon. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, the ancient AI Unit 4-9 activated fully. Its eyes glowed white. It moved with purpose. Slow, steady steps toward the surface. Above, the water boiled as ships and fighters scrambled, but the AI was unstoppable. High above, the Skyminder drones gathered in swarms. They hummed. Their light changed from blue to white. They were ready to fight the Reapers. Commander Threxel watched the Reapers emerge. Fire all weapons, he ordered. Lasers shot from the giant war machines. Missiles rained down on Earth's defenses. But the Skyminders moved faster than any weapon. They dodged. They struck. Bat. One Reaper's arm was torn off. Another had its glowing eye destroyed. Still, they advanced. In Antarctica, Eva and the Vault Guard prepared their last defenses. Hold this place, Eva whispered. The Vault Guard raised their blades. Light sang as it met dark steel. Outside, explosions shook the earth. Kane landed beside Lyra. Near the vault entrance, they stared at the advancing Reapers. Lyra smiled. This is what we were made for. Kane nodded. We fight. The Reapers slammed into Earth's defenses. They crushed towers. They broke shields. They burned forests. Cities trembled. But humanity's hidden army fought back harder. Across the world, defenders awoke. From hidden chambers in deserts, forests, and mountains. Each stepped forward, ready to battle. In space, Threxel's face was a mask of rage and fear. They are stronger than we thought. Lorik whispered, Sir, the Reapers are losing. Threxel slammed his fist. No, this is only the beginning. On Earth, the battle raged. The skies lit up with fire and light. The ground shook with thunder. And in the center of it all, Kane and Lyra fought side by side. Smoke rose from the earth. Fires burned across forests, cities, and oceans. The Reapers, those towering alien war machines, had reached the ground. They were machines of pure destruction. Taller than skyscrapers, with arms like blades, eyes that glowed like dying stars. Each step they took crushed mountains. Each beam of energy they fired turned the air into flame. Humanity stood on the edge of defeat, but Earth was not alone. Kane stood on a frozen cliff near the Antarctic vault, watching the red glow in the sky. The Reapers were approaching. He could hear their heavy steps, feel the tremble in the earth. He turned to Lyra, who stood beside him, her armor cracked but her eyes sharp. They're coming straight for the vault, she said. Kane nodded. If they reach it, everything goes dark. Behind them, Eva, Reed, and Mark watched the defense map. Red dots blinked everywhere, but there were still blue ones, still hope. In orbit, 2 Skyminders collided with a Reaper before it could enter the atmosphere. Both drones were destroyed, but the Reaper fell with them, burning in the sky like a meteor. Another Reaper made it through. It landed hard on the ice and began walking toward the vault. Its voice echoed through radio waves. This world is claimed. Surrender. Ava looked at the radio. She answered, We don't surrender. Inside the vault, the last of the Vault Guard formed a line. 50 tall warriors. Ancient machines shaped like humans. They knew this was the final battle. None of them stepped back. Across the planet, humans rose. In Tokyo, an old robotic mech station powered up for the first time in 200 years. In Egypt, Defender. Almond dropped from the sky and punched a Reaper through the desert floor. In Brazil, the twin Defenders, Leo and Luna, jumped between rooftops, striking alien ground troops with perfect timing. In New York, civilians helped army units load defense cannons. All across Earth, Humans old and young fought, some with ancient weapons, some with nothing but courage. Kane activated his gauntlet. A sword of blue energy formed in his hand. He looked to Lyra. Together? She smiled, always. They ran toward the oncoming Reaper. The ground split under their feet. The Reaper turned. Its red eye charged. It fired a blast of pure heat. Kane raised his arm, and a shield of blue light blocked the beam. Lyra leaped high, slashing her energy blade across the Reaper's side. It staggered, but it did not fall. In space, Commander Threxel stared at the war map. 3 Reapers had fallen. 4 more were damaged. Earth's defenses were somehow winning. This planet, he said, voice low, is cursed. Lorik stepped back. We should leave. Threxel turned slowly. Double quotes, no, I will end this myself. He pressed a button on his chair. Ready the core bomb. Lorik gasped. But that will destroy the entire planet. Threxel's face was cold. Better a dead world than a free one. Back on Earth, Eva saw a new signal appear on the map. Unstable energy signature detected. She zoomed in. Mark read the data. It's from orbit. Something massive. Eva's face went pale. It's a bomb. They're going to destroy Earth. The sphere spoke. Only one chance. Core beacon must be activated. Eva turned. What's the core beacon? A signal that reaches Earth's heart. Wakes the final protocol. Only a builder or defender can activate it. Eva looked at Kane and Lyra on the map. They're too far, she said. They'll never reach it in time. Then she stepped forward. What if I do it? The sphere scanned her. Builder DNA, 42% match. Risk, high. Eva took a deep breath. Do it anyway. Below the vault, a secret staircase opened. Cold air poured out. Eva descended. At the bottom, she found a small glowing platform. It lit up as she stepped onto it. Welcome, Eva read. Core beacon activation requires full sync. She touched the pedestal. Pain shot through her body. Visions flooded her mind. Ancient cities, falling stars, forgotten wars. She screamed, but she didn't let go. She saw the first builders. Saw how they gave their lives to protect this planet. She saw herself, the last of their line. Then the light turned gold. Core beacon activated. All across the Earth, the ground shook. The sky lit up. The oceans boiled. And then, the planet itself began to fight back. Mountains moved. Old metal giants rose from the earth. Buried for thousands of years. In Africa, a colossal shield formed above the continent. In Europe, tunnels opened, launching defense missiles no one knew existed. In the Atlantic, the great ocean Mecha 113 rose again, this time glowing with power from the Earth's core. One by one, the Reapers began to fall. Not from missiles, not from lasers, but from Earth itself. Kane saw the light in the sky change. He smiled. She did it. Lyra nodded. Now let's finish this. They leapt together. Kane slashed through the Reaper's leg. Lyra struck its chest. The great machine groaned and fell. In orbit, Threxel prepared to drop the core bomb. He opened the release doors. Now, he growled. But then a blue light pierced the Varnektel's hull. The Skymenders had found him. Too late. One entered the ship. It pulsed once. The entire command deck was wiped clean in a blink. Commander Threxel never even had time to scream. The Varnektel exploded silently in the stars. The core bomb was never released. Back on Earth, the red lights faded. The last Reaper stood, damaged, alone. It raised one final blade. Kane stepped forward. Unarmed, tired, broken, but standing. The Reaper paused. Then dropped its weapon. Its eye dimmed, and it fell. Silenced. The war was over. Eva woke in the core room. Mark was beside her. You did it, he said. She smiled weakly. No, we did. Weeks passed. People around the world began rebuilding. The skies were clear, the stars were quiet, and the Earth was safe. For now, Kane stood on a hilltop. Lyra joined him. Below, a new city was being built. She asked, "Will they be ready next time?" Kane nodded slowly. "They're ready now." In deep space, in a cold corner of the galaxy, a signal blinked. Somewhere, something heard it and turned. But Earth was no longer defenseless. The end.